Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me on this Saturday. So I'll give you a little recap from the BFL on Wheeler today. So finished 66th place. I had 4 fish for 7 pounds. That's not the important part. The important part is what I learned. So basically, I found some fish Thursday morning. I was fishing down a steep bank in the very back of a creek. So the steepest bank, the channel swing bank, but we're only in like 4 feet of water. I'm cranking down that bank, catch a 4-pounder. This is all within the first like 20 minutes. So the channel kind of swings around to the other bank. So I stay in the channel and the flat side, the flat next to the channel. So the channel swings to the other bank, but that big flat pretty close to where I just caught the 4-pounder, I throw up on it, catch a 2.5 on a crankbait, medium diving. And then I throw a Carolina rig up there. Doesn't even hit the bottom, and I have another one, another 2.5. So I'm like, this is pretty strong. So there's one other good looking little channel swing bank in this area. I go over there, flipping a full size jig. I catch a 3-pounder, catch a like 2-pounder, kind of flattens out the end of the channel swing. I pick up a swim jig. I go down maybe another 20 yards, shake off 2 more fish. So I'm like, this area is loaded. I got to kind of base my whole week around this area. So I started there today and I stay on that flat where I caught the 2 fish, and I fish there for like 3 or 4 hours, and I just catch 1 keeper on a medium diving crankbait, drag a Carolina rig, I throw a Nico rig, I get up on the flat, throw a chatterbait, shallow crank, broke off several different types of medium crankbaits, a Norman Little N, DT6, just wasn't happening. So I run to the other little juicy part of that area. My co-angler throws either with a drop shot, and he catches a keeper, and he's like, dude, fish was hitting it. And then I moved a little further, and another fish was hitting it. So I'm like, oh no, they must be spawning. So put on Texas rig, start flipping around and catch a keeper, catch another keeper doing that. And I think what happened was those fish had been up for a while, and they had to drop their eggs, lay their eggs, whatever you want to say. But in a lot of my videos, if I ever talk about the spawn, I'm big on moon phase, water temperature, and the water temperature was right. The water temperature was 65. So water temperature was perfect for spawning. The moon phase I don't think is right, and the water level's not right. Now, as a generality, water level does have to be a certain level for the majority of the fish on the lake to spawn. So that's why I always say that. But if the water's low and fish pull up and they're gonna spawn, and then the water comes back down a couple feet, but the water temperature's right, everything's right, they can't just hang around and leave. They've got to drop their eggs, lay their eggs. I don't know why I keep saying that. But anyways, so I think that's what happened. Those fish got out of the pre-spawn mode. They started spawning, and I just didn't have enough of that. It was like they were spawning on like the steeper banks, but on the shelfy rock part of it, which when the water comes up, there's only, they're right against the bank. So a couple feet comes up, they can still spawn. And that's basically what I think my fish did. So yes, if you have fish that are about, pre-spawn, and they spawn, they're biting a swim jig, they're eating that big jig on wood, and they go to the bank and spawn, that can happen. The water level doesn't have to be right. The moon phase doesn't have to be right. That little group of fish. Now, if you're asking me how many fish on the whole lake have spawned, I would say there's probably 10% of the fish, or 5. But the ones that I was catching on that swim jig and flipping that big jig, I think they went to spawn. So tried to adjust. Could have been way worse, judging yet by yesterday and that, but it is what it is. Next tournament is the end of May, so we're gonna get ready for that. Start fishing around Gunnersville some more. But that's my Wheeler Lake BFL recap. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the water.